What's up guys, welcome back to the build, and today we have a very eventful episode. I'm going to be picking up an R154 transmission. Finally got the transmission. So happy about that because that just means this build is moving forward. I'm hoping it's going to fit in here. Got my tools here in case I have any issues. Alright, let's hit the road. Alright guys, so I picked up the transmission and I didn't really film that whole thing because I know some people don't like being on camera, didn't want to be disrespectful, and also it's kind of embarrassing kind of vlogging and stuff like that. But on the way here, I drove without the sound set on the FRS and that is really annoying. So I'm going to put that back in for the ride home and let's just check out the transmission. So the transmission's in pretty good shape. It looks like it's pretty decent. He's took good care of it. This guy's really knowledgeable on Mark IIIs, so pretty happy with that. So yeah, that's definitely going to be a lot better for the ride home. On the way here, 2 hours with the back seats down and the sounds are off. It was super loud. But now I do have the back seats back up because the transmission fit all in the trunk. Pretty happy about it. Also, I just like feel super awkward vlogging out here in public. I know a lot of people do it and they feel comfortable doing it. People really are used to it in places like LA and stuff like that, but out here East Texas, I just feel kind of awkward doing it, so. All right, let's hit the road. I had to stop for you guys because this sunset is so beautiful. The sun is so orange and deep right now. Alright guys, it's the next day, and yesterday when I came back with the transmission, I didn't really feel like doing more work. So today I'm going to go ahead and finish everything up. But before I get started, I just want to apologize for the noise. I do have the shop air running here, and it gets pretty humid here in Texas, so that's why I'm running it, because it's like really late at night, but it's still humid as hell in this garage. And today's been pretty eventful. I went to Dallas just to hang out there today. On the way back, the tire on the right rear of the FRS just decided to go flat on me. Here's the dead tire here, and I looked over the tread when I took it off and there's a hole somewhere in the tread, but it's not really repairable because if you look on the sidewall, I ran it too long flat and it just shredded the sidewall. So if you actually take this tire off, I'm pretty sure it's going to be shredded on the inside. So that's definitely not safe. Only thing that sucks is these tires are really expensive because they're 245s. After putting my stock tire on, I forget how much better it looks with the wider wheels because it's a lot more poke and a lot more flush with these. There's the stock tire. And here's the other side. it looks so much better with the 17x9s. It almost looks like the stock tires aren't even made for this car, like how far pushed in they are. It's crazy. So I have to replace that tire, but I'm also going to consider replacing the stock tires and the stock wheels, because since I got the wet sports, I've actually been running them all year, and I really want to save those for when I really need them, like summer and autocross events. So even though I don't like the stock wheels, I really need to be running those during the winter time and just most of the time. So with the transmission, he gave me a box full of other things that kind of go with it. Here's the mount that I'm going to need to mount it up to the car. It comes with the boots that are usually in the car, and I still have mine, so I'm not sure if I'm going to use these, but it's good to have them. It's like, here's another mount. There's also a clutch disc, so I'm not sure if I'm going to use that, but there's that. Miscellaneous bag of bolts and stuff. It does come with a shifter too, but he said this is for a right-hand drive car, so I'm not sure if I'm going to need it. The W58 shifter should fit on this transmission though, so I should be able to use my original shifter. Otherwise I'll probably pick up like an aftermarket shifter somewhere. I'm going to use the JB Weld to fix the hole in the fog light, but I'm also going to use it for two other things. One, the trim piece that goes in the driver's side. When I was trying to pull this off to repaint it, I didn't realize that it unscrews from the inside, so I was just tugging at it, and these little tabs here kind of broke off. So I'm going to unscrew the tabs from the vehicle and then kind of weld it back on here if I can. This one looks like it's fine, but these two on the edge look like they're broken. And also the climate control. Now this is just notorious for breaking tabs. Although it is a 30-year-old car and this plastic probably isn't that strong, but I have the tabs here, so I'm going to epoxy those on to the climate control unit to hopefully keep it on there. While that's kind of setting, I'm going to go ahead and try to start on the climate control and start fixing these tabs here. I'm going to first start by getting the plastic pieces back on. So last night I did get one of the tabs epoxied on there with the JB Weld stuff, and it took about an hour to cure, so I didn't really have time to do anything else yesterday. But if I like hold it from here, it's pretty strong, so it holds just from holding this tab, and I feel like it'll be good, but I want to reinforce it. So what I was thinking of doing was, I have this old exhaust gasket from the FRS. I cut off a piece of it, and I was trying to use this as possibly like a tab to reinforce it and kind of JB Weld that onto there, but I feel like it's not really going to do too much, so I may go to the hardware store and get some kind of like L-shaped tabs that I can screw into this, or JB Weld onto this, just to kind of reinforce it, just kind of go along there and hold it. Like I said, these are known to break, and even with the JB Weld, I feel like it's just going to not last very long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put on the other sides. There's 3 in total on this. I'm going to do the other 2, let it set, and then go to the hardware store and pick up some tabs that I might be able to use to kind of reinforce it. So the other two tabs are way too broken up to even stay on their own. I'm gonna have to get some kind of bracket from the hardware store to reinforce it. And I might even just junk those other two tabs because they're just too bad of shape. That's how it goes. I'm gonna have to get these brackets to hold it together. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna get to the hardware store and I'll finish this up. So I found these little L-shaped brackets that are made of steel and they're 3/4 inch. The 4-pack was like $2. Now the thing is, I can't really put them behind because this part actually lays up against something, so if I put it behind it's gonna push it out and it's gonna stick out a little bit. So this one, I may not have to use this. I'm gonna probably have to grind this one down and this one down and just kind of put it facing forward like this. Yeah, like these little pieces here are not gonna cut it as far as epoxy or JB Weld. There's really not much to work with, so I'm gonna have to pretty much fabricate these brackets. So I just took some measurements with the little brackets and I'm gonna have to trim these brackets just a little bit to get them to fit. Just a little bit on the edges on the right side and on one edge on the left side too. So I guess I could just trim both the same way. Just need to make them a little bit shorter in order to fit right. And I'll need to just make this a little bit more flush. Alright, so this isn't really setting into the plastic. I think this clear epoxy doesn't really do well with metals. It is cut to length and it's like the perfect thing to use. So I actually made these little screws very short to kind of hold it in. I think this will work. So I'm going to try to put this in there and hold it. These were cut to probably like 1/2 inch or less, not really sure. So basically I just drilled a little hole in there with a really small drill bit and kind of opened up the hole as much as I can while still allowing some room for the screw to thread it down because this plastic is really fragile. If you just screw right into this, it's definitely going to crack. Probably thinking, why don't you just get a new one of these? Well, they don't really make these new anymore. This is a 30-year-old car, and the only way I would be able to find this is off of someone parting out their car, eBay, something like that. And they are probably really expensive now. I think I saw a couple for at least a couple hundred, and you know, it's gonna have the same problems with these plastic tabs, so fixing it is really the best solution at this point. Alright, I finally got it done. I did a couple more things to get it to fit. I trimmed off a little bit more of the side. I also drilled the holes in more inside on both of them, so I just kind of made the holes a little bit wider to be able to fit it. So as of right now, it's hooked up and it's in there, and pretty happy about that. So I'm going to go ahead and put the center console back in, see how that looks like. Bracket on here is just snugly up against this. That's why it was kind of hard to put in. So it's kind of sticking out a little bit here, but not too much. When I was pushing it in, trying to press it in, they snap in up here, and it usually snaps in. So I was like, why is it not going in? Or the wire's in the way? But that bracket is a little bit in the way, so I am not going to mess with that right now. It's all in. I am planning to replace the shift boot and the shift knob, as well as the boot for the brake handle. So this is going to come off again one more time, at least, maybe more obviously, because I still need a stereo. But I'm going to go ahead and fix this issue once I, do the shift boot and the brake handle boot, because this will come off, and I'll just kind of find a way to get that to fit a little bit better. But everything is pretty much on there and snug. So much cleaner just with the center console in. It looks a million times better. Since I've owned this car, this has been kind of flopping to the side, and the tabs were broken on at least one or two of them, but now it looks like it's pretty much solid in there, and I'm so happy about that. And the ironic thing is, I don't even have any AC. And it's gonna look so sick once I have like an old school radio in here that fits with the vehicle. Hoping to get the original Toyota stereo that came out like in '88. That would be so awesome. Alright, so I'm in the house now. I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the tinting of these. They're pretty much as clean as they're probably gonna get. To me, these look like the original fog lights. I mean, they still have the Toyota logo on them. They just look so pitted, and it feels smooth though, so I feel like that's on the inside, although I really can't tell, and I'm pretty much just done trying to clean it. So let's go ahead and measure out the tint and start putting it on there. So I got the fog lights back in the car, and there's just two small things that are bothering me right now. First of all, it's the first time I've ever really put on tinting on a headlight or fog light, so they're not perfect, and I actually had to redo it once on each light, but it's not perfect around the corners. I feel like if I redid them, I probably could make them even better than the first two tries, but I'm pretty much done with trying to do that. It looks pretty good to me. It's just that if you continuously take off and put back on the fog lights, like if I'm changing out the bulbs, the corners all the way in the back will pull off a little bit. The second thing though that is really bothering me is that the LED lights that I got for it are a little bit too bright or a little bit too white, because when I turn the fog lights on, it actually looks almost green coming through. It doesn't give you that like yellow look that it has when they're off. So they look pretty good right now. Like I said, it's my first time, so I'm pretty happy with the results of putting the tint on. The only issue right now is that if I turn the light on, they'll have kind of a green look to it. They don't really keep that yellow tinted look. So I'm gonna turn this on, and right now I only have the passenger side wired up. I do need to make an adjustment to the wiring on the driver's side, but let me turn it on and you can see what I'm talking about, hopefully on camera. So it might be hard to see on camera, but it's really just bright or kind of greenish. But the LEDs are super bright and they kind of come through the tint instead of projecting out the yellowness of them. And that might be better for visibility actually, I'm not sure. But I kind of like that yellowish look. It's just that these LED bulbs cost like $20 and I hate to get new bulbs, but I feel like getting original headlight bulbs like your Sylvania ones from like parts store or something will probably look a whole lot better. So I might do that today, I'm really not sure, but if I do, it'll probably be added on to another episode. With this episode, I'm pretty much done. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, I really appreciate your views and your comments and likes. If you are new to this channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel down below. We are building a 2016 FRS super lightweight 3,000 pound JZ swapped Mark III Supra. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.